Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC, and today I'm going to do a short video based on some email that I got. And in this one, I got a email from two separate people basically on the same topic. And that topic was kind of the new person was just starting. They're really interested. They stumbled upon our channel and they said, "Hey, I'm brand new to this. Where do I begin? What do I do?" And the second one was somebody that said, "I've been doing this for 6 months or whatnot. I'm, kind of stuck, and where do I go from here?" And I responded to both of them in the same exact manner, where I basically said, "What is your I.S.L?" And for that kind of basically struck up the thing of, there's probably a lot of people that don't know what I.S.L is. And so I'm going to do a quick video to break this down for you. Now, I.S.L for me is your immediate, short-term, long-term. So we're going to do this as a suggestive base, kind of a way to get you to think and to open this up so that way you can start breaking this down for yourself. Because in the preparedness community, there is no cookie cutter one size fits all. Everybody's situation is going to be different. Every plan that you have is going to be one of those ones where it could be a variety of things that happen, and everybody's needs are going to be a little bit different. So this is just going to be kind of an outline guide to get you to think. So in this, we're going to do kind of a scenario to where you are brand new for prepping and joining the preparedness community, which if you are seeing this and that is you, welcome. Go ahead and hit the subscribe, like this video, share it with others so that way people just like yourselves can see this and we can do our best to try and help them out. So if you are brand new and you don't know really where to start, let's go ahead and break the first one down, which is immediate. Whatever the situation is, whether that is a natural disaster, civil unrest, whatever, break your scenario down for what the event is that we're preparing for. Immediate. Immediate is going to basically be the golden rule of 72 hours or 3 days. You need to have everything that you need to survive for that amount of time. And this one, I'm going to basically start with food. So for me, immediate when it comes to food, and I know I'll probably get blowback for this. And again, this is my opinion. So if yours varies, that's fine. And feel free to drop it in the comments or whatnot. But for me, when it comes to immediate, it is no prep, no cook. So in this, and I know I'm going to get a bunch of probably MRE people out there, and that's fine. That's completely fine. But for me, in immediate, you need to have things that you can eat and consume that requires no cooking whatsoever, and you don't have to do any sort of mixing anything, with water or whatnot. You want to basically open and eat. And so ideas on that is going to be things like cereal bars or energy bars, things like mixed nuts. You can go as far as a can of SpaghettiOs. While that may not taste the greatest, it 100% will not kill you to pop the top on a can of SpaghettiOs and eat it at room temperature. Those are just some ideas of things that gives you an idea of a way to go, so that way in an immediate you have food. Now you will take and do this in shelter and medical and everything else. You'll take each category and you'll do immediate. Do you have enough for that short amount of time, that first day to 3 days? Can you survive? Do you have all the skills, materials, supplies, things like that for it? So Once you have that down, that you are completely satisfied for 3 days, you're good. This will go move on to the second email I got. Where do I go from here? Well, it's short term. So short term, what I like to think of is about 10 to 14 days. That is going to be everything that you can do to survive, again, of all the materials and different things like that. Got my kid in there that wants to apparently join the video. So what you can use for that time. Now, well, again, we're going to go with food on this one, but again, you're going to apply this to every aspect of, shelter and medical and everything else. Do you have enough? So when it comes to food, this is where you're going to do some cooking, which will be short cooking, and as few ingredients as possible. So for me, this is where your MREs come in, or things to where it is just adding water. So this is your instant mashed potatoes. This is your ramen noodle. This is the one where you are basically adding as few, so basically one, maybe two ingredients, and you have to cook it for a short period of time, because depending on the situation, you have your OPSEC. So, you don't know what's going on around you. You don't want the smell of food floating in the air a lot of the times. You don't want the massive fire where you're cooking for, a long period of time. So in the realm of food, do you have enough to get you through that 10 to 14 day short term area? Then, if you have that, and once you have that, then you move on to L, long term. Long term is basically anything past 2 weeks. To get you started, if this is your first time getting into preparedness, you probably want to set small goals. So you'll basically double it and you'll want to go 30 days. Once you satisfy yourself from there, then you'll want to move out and basically just keep going. So you'll go to 2 months, 3 months, and then double that 6 months, go to a year, and just keep going. So again, sticking with food, this is where you need to have your non-perishable items. Usually in a longer term, a lot of your chaos has happened in that immediate and short term. So depending on the situation, you can cook a little longer, because usually things have kind of died down and now you're more into that survival mode, to where it's not pure chaos outside. It could be, and you may have to stay in that short term or immediate mindset for a little longer period of time, but this is just a template to get you started. So in the long term, this is where you can start again with the food thing. You can start really doing something to make a meal to really get your calorie count up, especially if you live the first couple of days on, just snack food and things like that. You're going to get into that short term to where you're going to be adding a little bit more calories. Once you get past that, you're really going to need to make sure that you have enough, especially in the start of the long term, that you can get your calorie count back up, because we don't know how long we're going to be in there. But that also comes into the consideration of, you have to ration to make sure that you can last that long with what you have. So this comes into, make sure that when you do things like your food, that you have things that you can use during that period of time. So when you have things like beans and rice and things like that, that is a great thing. In your preps, when you're prepping for like your pantry and stocking things up, you got to make sure that as a situation unfolds, you also try and utilize what you have. So make sure that as you move through the different stages of this, that you aren't overlooking expiration dates or anything along the lines to where you're going to lose calories because it went bad. We'll probably do some follow-up videos with this. there's a lot that goes into food, but again, your long-term survival, it's also going to go into everything else, just like all the other steps, to where you need to make sure that you have the medical and the supplies and the shelter and everything to go long term. So again, use your I.S.L in every category, and you can even test yourself. But if you come through and say that you overlooked something and something went bad, it's not necessarily bad in the sense of you just wasted it. Uh, there's a lot of things that you can do where you can use the container, you can use the packaging, you can use the bad food just because it might make you sick, you can use it as bait. There's a lot of different things that you can use something, so make sure that you understand that it's not necessarily a loss. And we'll do a video on that in the future. But make sure that you also kind of test yourself just before you move to the next one. So once you get to where you are satisfied in your immediate, test yourself. Go that 3 days and don't spend $1. See if you can survive for 3 days without spending anything. And you can even bump up levels to where once you get it to where, yeah, I can last 3 days and not spend any money. I have everything that I need. Go ahead and make it to where you don't use your refrigerator. You don't use any of your outlets, to charge your phone or whatnot. Maybe unplug your internet or whatnot. Really put yourself to the test before you go through. So you do that with stage 2 as well. So that way, when you feel that you are prepared enough for stage 2, do all your tests again. So that way you can really see that, can I go that 10 to 14 days without spending a single dollar? Do I have everything I need? Do it for long term as well. Disclaimer, if you do this stuff, make sure that you don't put anybody in danger. Don't try, and if you take medication, go past, if you're out of it, go get more medication. If you try and do the very, very popular shut off your breaker, I do not recommend shutting off the main breaker. Because you have things in your fridge and things like that, I leave my breaker on when I do my testing like that. What you do is you basically unplug certain things, leave your refrigerator running, leave things like that going, but just don't use it. It's the honor system. If you're just going to plug it in because nobody will know, well, then there you go. You're not really testing yourself. So if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything like that, drop them down in the comments below and let me know how you test yourself. Let me know where you are in the I.S.L. And with that, I will remind everybody to remain united, because we're all prepping in this together, folks.